Well, hello there, ladies and gents. I'm Tammy Sipnewski. Thank you so much for popping by my channel. So you may notice my lighting situation is a little different today. I don't have my normal hair light and practical lights going. And that's because I wanted to do a review on my softbox that's on my key light. So I have the Aputure Light Dome Mini Mark 1. So the very first generation of that mini light dome. It's the one that has the metal spike sticking out of it. I don't know why they made it that way. It's kind of like a medieval torture device. And literally so, because many times I banged into this thing and I've been in pain. One time I rammed my face into it, but thank goodness I had my glasses on because it could have went south very quickly for me. So when I was watching videos to discover which particular softbox I should get for my key light, which is a Godox SL 60, this is a Fresnel light, so I needed a softbox that had a Bowens mount. Now I love those deep parabolic softboxes because the light that just flows out of there is gorgeous, soft, and beautiful, but they're ginormous. So I originally purchased a 24-inch Godox deep parabolic softbox to go with my Godox key light. However, when I got this set in and I mounted it, there was just no way that I could use that deep parabolic softbox. When you hear 24 inches, it doesn't sound that very big. You picture two rulers lined up together, and really it doesn't seem that very big. But when they're talking about a deep parabolic softbox, they're talking about the circumference of the face of the light, not actually the depth of the light. So no matter where I put the light, that softbox was so big that it was always getting into the frame of the camera. So if you have a very small YouTube space like I do, this might be a really good alternative for you as well. So when I was watching different videos to decide which softbox that I should go with, I did watch a lot of videos on the Aputure Light Dome Mini. However, you know, it was mostly unboxings and showing you how to set it up, and I appreciated all those videos. But what I noticed very quickly was you could achieve a lot of different light looks with just this one softbox. So there's actually 3 layers of diffusion that go on inside of this softbox. You have that internal diffusion, and it's this piece that you mount to the inside of the silver umbrella. One side is gold and one side is silver. So depending on which particular side is facing that light's going to bounce around on the inside of the silver umbrella and flow out. So if you have the gold side facing the light that comes out should be a little warmer than if you had the silver side. That light would be a little more cool. So what I wanted to do is take you through all of the different light setups that you can achieve with just this one little softbox. So right now I have going on all 3 layers of diffusion. I have that internal piece set up, and the silver side is facing towards the light. I also have the outer white diffusion on, and I also have the egg crate or grid diffusion. So the grid is up there to focus the fall of the light. It keeps it focused on me instead of allowing it to spill onto my background. So what I'm going to do now is move each component by component to show you the different light looks that you can achieve with the Aputure Light Dome Mini. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take the grid off. And all you really have to do is kind of just yank it off. Okay, there we go. And this is the light look that you can achieve when you just have the internal diffusion on and the outside white panel of diffusion without the grid. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is remove this white panel of diffusion, just leaving that internal diffuser on. So I have to say, this white diffusion panel that goes on the outside, it's pretty rugged. I've ripped this thing down a bunch of times and I've never had a problem with it tearing, so, you know, no need to be completely gentle with it. Okay, so this is with that internal diffusion still mounted onto the light. So if you wanted to get, you know, a more harsh light, if you needed that for a certain situation, this is the light look that you can achieve with that. So now what I'm going to do is remove that internal diffuser and start putting on the other layers of light so that you can see, you know, what it's going to look like without that internal diffusion on. Just in case you were curious about what this is going to look like without any diffusion whatsoever. So in other words, it's just the Godox SL60 bouncing around that internal silver umbrella and flowing out. So this is going to be a very harsh light setup, and this is that little internal diffusion panel. So what I'm going to do now is put on the white diffusion panel, and then we'll go ahead and add the grid so you can see what that looks like. This is the quality of light that you can achieve when you just have that white piece of diffusion over your light without that internal piece and no grid. Okay, so this is the light look that you can achieve when you only have the white diffusion panel up and the grid on the Aputure Light Dome Mini. What I'm going to do next is go ahead and mount the internal diffusion, but this time I'm going to have the gold facing the Godox SL60. So what should happen is the light is going to bounce off this gold internal diffusion and bounce around internally in the silver umbrella. So the light should come out a little more warm than that original setup that I had. But what I'm going to do to really give it a good comparison is put videos up side by side to see if really this really makes that big of difference. And this is what the light looks like when you only have that internal diffusion mounted to the Aputure Light Dome Mini with the gold side facing the light. So just standing here in the room, it does look like there is a little more of a goldish hue to this light, but I won't know until we do the side-by-side comparison. So let's go ahead and get on the rest of the diffusion. Okay, so now I have the white panel of diffusion over the Aputure Light Dome Mini, and that internal diffusion, just to remind you, the gold side is facing the light. So what do you guys think? Do you think the light that's falling out of here is a little more warm? I'm very anxious to see that side-by-side video. Here it is, the final light look. So this is with all 3 layers of diffusion. We have that internal panel with the gold side turned towards the light. We have the white sheet of diffusion, and we also have the grid on. So this is the very last light look that you can achieve with the Aputure Light Dome Mini. So the Aputure Light Dome Mini Mark 1 and Mark 2 are very similar. The internal components are basically exactly the same. The only thing that's going to be different with the newer version is going to be they don't have the external spikes. Having those external spikes, I do have to say, it makes it really easy to put on the grid and to put on that white diffusion panel as well. So, you know, if you want to, maybe even just for safety reasons, get the Mark II, if you have the extra money, I think it's about 30 or 40 bucks more than this one. I paid $100 for this on Amazon. I wanted to get the newer one, the Mark II, but when I was purchasing this, nobody had it available. Amazon didn't have it, B&H didn't have it, Adorama didn't have it, so I had to basically settle on this guy, and I'm very happy with this softbox. I mean, as much as I banged into these metal spikes, they do make it very easy to remove the different components and to put them on very quickly as well. So what I want to do is start adding in the rest of my lights. This way you can see how each light affects the look of the video. But before I do that, what I wanted to do is hold up a fill card. So what's going to happen when I do that is the light from the key light is going to be reflected off this fill card, and it's going to bounce onto the shadow side of my face. So the lighting situation is not going to be as dark and dramatic. My face is going to be a little more evenly lit. I prefer the dark and dramatic, but let's go ahead and add the fill card so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. And it's just a blank white piece of paper, and sometimes I do use it and I just gaff tape it to my microphone stand that's booming my deity microphone above me. So fill card, no fill card. Fill card, and I just want to look at the monitor. So yeah, it does make a pretty big difference. Now I've added in my hair light, which is the Yongnuo YN216 mini LED spotlight, and it's just out of frame over the left-hand corner. And you can see how it just highlights my hair and my shoulder and is carving me out from the background, giving me just a little bit of separation from the background. So this is going to help my image look a little more cinematic and a little less flat. So now I have the Viltrox RB10 RGB light hitting on my background. Right now I have it on 5600 degrees Kelvin, and it's just lighting up that background a little bit, accenting some of the things that I have. And this is also an RGB light, so what I can do is put it to different colors. So right now, like I said, it's 5600 Kelvin. Let me go ahead and dial it down to 3300 degrees Kelvin. This way you can see what that looks like. And that is 3300 degrees Kelvin. So what do you guys think? Do you think I should leave it on 5600 Kelvin or 3300 Kelvin? It also can do all the different colors. It goes from 0 to 300, so I could pick any color that I wanted. And it also has this really cool feature where if you hit this button, it just automatically starts scrolling through all of the different colors. So I think that's a really cool feature that that light has. Now that I have all the different light components turned on, what I'm going to do is add that fill card one last time. So no fill card, fill card, no fill card, fill card. So listen, I'd really love to know from you guys which one that you like the best. Do you guys think I should keep the gold panel face towards the light, or do you think I should switch it back to silver? I normally always have the silver up in all of my videos. This is the very first time that I'm using the gold, and I have to say, I think I kind of like it. So in the comment section below, if you don't mind, let me know which lighting situation you like the best. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. May not be right away, but I do get back to you. And by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. All you have to do is hit that red subscribe button right below. It's right there. And if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. And until next time, wear your sunblock.